Hey, what's up, viewers? I am still working on this because there's a couple things wrong. The guy looked at the rods for these, which this one's all slippery now, probably use plumber's tape on that, and said, oops, they're the wrong size. You know, he owned up to it, whatever. I'm fine with that. He seemed to think that I was putting this nut in here backwards. I know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I put it like this. It doesn't matter if I put it like this. It's just slightly not going to fit. And I can see what the problem is. It's the hexagon shape didn't cut out all the way. So I'm gonna Dremel that out with my nail tool for my actual nail. I'm gonna bust out these pieces right now because these are annoying me, obviously. Everything's been annoying me. I was up all night because just me and my not giving up. Where is the hammer? Oh my gosh, okay. I have to run a cord for that Dremel. Okay, let's make sure this is all evened out. Okay, so they're all even. Okay, so I was saying that I hammered one of these sides, the waffle side or the non-waffle side. I had the groove yesterday. I just don't know what happened. I think tiredness of arguing with people. For the new year, I got like a Y2K vibe going on. So like everything electronic went rogue and everything in my network got hacked, and the company, the Spectrum, doesn't believe me. And I'm telling them it's hacked. I told them what it was hacked by. They're still ignoring me. So that's on them, really. I'll put my antivirus on everything and just leave them alone. These are just, got my sandpaper. They're just too big. Actually, I don't know where I put my drill, but alright, I'm gonna have to be creative with this. I'm only doing side at a time, I guess. I brought out the big toolbox. I was talking about sending new parts, but I'm an impatient person. Once I get, once I'm supposed to get something and it comes to the house and it's in the package, after that, all bets are off. Usually find a way to make it work. Like this. Yes, I am listening to my music because it's probably the only reason I'm not going crazy right now. Alright, well. Where my C clamp? I don't know where it is. You gotta really whack these in there, it's crazy. See that? I was right. Sandpaper, dude. They're off by a smidge. Everything, it's like, everything that I mentioned is just, it's off by a smidge. Not doing this is helping, so. That's cool. See, like now I can actually get it to where it's going to go in. That's a perfect fit right there. Smack these around a little bit. While it's early and my neighbors are not gonna kill me. Well, early-ish. So sandpaper too. Yeah, see, it's like I can tell it's like a little bit off. I know how 3D printers work. I know how they're supposed to, I know how the parts are supposed to look, but I know also what they look like when the parts miss a little bit, It's almost like it's like a hesitation mark almost. Yeah, see, that's not even straight. That's weird. Yeah, it's like, no wonder. It's like a little bit off on the bottom. I can only tell that because of my OCD. Like literally a normal person would look at this and be like, it's fine. This is why I should be in charge of quality control somewhere. See, stockroom is like the perfect job for me. Put this other end in because it's smaller for some reason. I don't know. It's really weird. I'm smacking you in there. don't care anymore. Okay. So this is a little hexagon hole that's a little bit off. So, me and my infinite wisdom, I'm gonna go ahead and, yes, this is for acrylic nails. Yes, it is. I don't have my Dremel anymore. It was stolen by some fascist roommates a while back. The rest of my kit, my mom knows where the rest of my kit is. She helped get rid of it. So I'm going to use these, which are really to get like acrylic and gel tips off. It works really, really well. I'm not gonna worry about direction or anything, but I do want to change the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So it's, when I got it off of Amazon, it's pretty good. It works good for nails anyway. You can change the speed. I'm gonna go slow because I don't want to take too much off. I just want to even this out right here. See, even. Let's even this out. Let's even this out. Okay, I'm just gonna went around it one time. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I feel like this is gonna be perfect. So now we'll see. So I can tell. See, now I got that part that's exactly the right thing. Okay, that I need to work on, that I need to work on. It's more like, yeah, it's more like the corners. I'm gonna switch to the more specific one. I actually do have to do my nails later, but I'm trying to do it on my roommates, you know, one of my roommates at work, so it's less stinky for them. Less stinky for him. Alright, so just gonna continue where I paid attention at. If I had a Dremel, I would use it to get rid of the, I would have a Dremel piece. I used to have a Dremel piece. I could cut the end of these things off. It worked so good. I honestly miss it. That might be my next big tool buy, honestly. It was just so useful. Okay, I want to make sure it's flush either way. Either way. I think it should pull in now. Yeah, and jiggle it in there, so it's probably fine. So, yeah. Let's try it and see. Let's double check. It doesn't matter which way I put it in, it just wouldn't go in. Okay, so I'm gonna double check the direction that this is supposed to go, which this is not the correct direction because it stops right there. It's not supposed to. That's just a wrong direction for a hex, okay? A hex has this little beveled edge here to show that that's supposed to go on the outside. That is how tools work. That is literally how tools work. This is the way it goes. So I know because I went further on there and it's fine going further than that, so. If I had, you know what, I do have something like that. I was just thinking if I had sandpaper, you know, circular sandpaper, but I do because it's a nail tool. Dremel tools have the same thing, duh. Just want to shave a little bit, smooth it out a little. Yeah, I don't really care if I keep this shape or not. I just care if it works, honestly. In all honesty, that's all I care about, so. Let's go. He also told me that I needed to tap this piece in a little bit more, which I didn't want to go further in because, I mean, I already had a broken gold piece from another one of these in here, and that's why that piece broke like that, and that's why now I have to glue it together, is because there's a stupid gold piece in there. So I'm guessing this was, somebody returned it after breaking it. Opal! Why are you photobombing? Okay, so I just want to make sure how far it is in there. I can tell it's about that far in, and I can see a small indentation actually where the rod is. So it's actually stopped right here. And I can only tell that because of the light hitting it. be far enough. Let's see. This I didn't have a problem with, you know. This was sitting pretty, it was perfect. I don't know why that hook's loose, but I'll figure that out later. One thing at a time. Don't kind of shimmy, well, I don't know. Shimmying might hurt it a little bit more than I want to, so I'm just gonna work on the corners. So we have this tool for corners. I mean, if you buy a good enough nail kit, it's just like a Dremel. They do have a video up showing you how to put this thing together. See, this is fine. I can jiggle it in there and all that good stuff. So we're going to go back to this. And it's a little dramatic, but we all know I get a little dramatic. For those of you that are first time watchers, this is kind of like my diary, so. My dad's like, oh, well, I know everything about you. I was like, really? You watch my channel? No. Well, then you don't know shit. I've invented on here about him. He doesn't even know. So, make sure this is a moving part still, yeah. So I can tighten this even more. What you want to do is tighten it all the way until it stops, but then you go back and loosen. That way it's still a moving part. Anybody that doesn't have one of these tools should get one, by the way. It's got a gator grip thing. This thing can grip anything. Little smidge. See that? No wobble. Okay, no wobble that way, that's good. Okay, so the spacer's supposed to go here and stop this from hitting the side, right? And I only know that from me working on antiques and working on clocks, and yeah, I know a lot because my grandfather taught me a lot. Things that don't make sense to a normal person make perfect sense to me. It's the only way I can explain it. Yes, I'm counting this as one of my regular tutorial videos, whatever you want to call them. Sometimes I do tutorials, sometimes I do nonsense, who knows. That's what a diary's for, right? Alright, so I'm gonna very lightly do this. I just want it out a little bit. Tap on either side, it came right out. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to see, I didn't get any damage on this bearing. So I'm gonna take the ruler and I'm going to make it flush with this screw. And I love guys that watch my videos. It's just like they watch me and they'll watch me build or ghetto rig something and they're just like, oh, you're doing it wrong. And I'm just like laughing my butt off because I'm just like, dude, just because I'm doing it different than you're doing it doesn't mean I'm doing it wrong, and I'm definitely not wrong. I'm just not. I own up to my mistakes. When I make a mistake, I say I made a mistake. It's not that big of a deal to say that. I don't know what society has done to where it's like, oh my God, you can't say you made a mistake. Like those customer service companies, I hate it. It's like, no, you can't admit we're wrong because the customer's always right, and then they used to have the customer's always right thing, and now they have the customer, you have to prove the customer's wrong thing. That's what they have come out with in America now. I'm actually gonna tap the other one a little bit out as well. Don't worry, good and basic, I got you. We're gonna figure this out. If I can't fix it, then I admit it, you know. If it's something that I have no idea how to work on, if it's like my computer's motherboard, then I'm screwed. Admit your flaws, people. Your flaws are who you are. This is what I mean by a smidge, okay? When I see from the end of this bolt to the first little ring, that would be a smidge to me. That's what I say when I mean a smidge off. All right, this string has to go around this, and I'm not trying. And look at it. It's going all the way around. It's not hitting. Oh, wait. What happened? Yeah, it's hitting this side. Okay, so it's hitting the top, but not the bottom. I tried that new site, Mercari, but they want me to file taxes to sell my mom's stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm not paying taxes to sell my mom's stuff. Beautiful. Go backwards, go forwards. Taught my friend Kirby that trick too. It's a good one. Okay, now why is this not going all the way? So Something else is going on. Oh, you know what? It's this. So this has to go that far in. I think that bearing specifically has to be in that far.
This one. The back of this it's just too long.
So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this the rest of the way so that these bearings recess to where they're supposed to be. Sturdy, solid. Now I have to take it apart because I gotta. So this is what's going on. See this? It's just too long, and it doesn't matter if this bolt was further in and I dremeled a little more for it to go further in, it would still hit that same way. So my only choice is somehow get the front not to be so recessed, but the iMovie tool, and then it looked weird, but I had to cut out the parts where I institutionalized cardboard. I tried to use cardboard, which is an old trick. It works sometimes. I mean, it does work sometimes. Okay, see, this is still cutting it close. See, that's all well and good, but then we run the problem of this being all kinds of wonky. So when it goes around, see what I mean? It's just doing whatever the hell it wants to do because it's so wobbly here. Just doesn't make mechanical sense, man. I mean, might seem like it because I explain weird sometimes, but I'm not flawed. Maybe if I put that out a little bit. It just wants to stay in there. It lives there now. Okay, so I'm gonna take off the other piece, which the top of the toothpaste holder, the top of the toothpaste thing, it actually did work a little bit for, as a temporary fix. It's just I want what I want. That's kind of how I am. I want what I want. That's it. The way it goes. Stop streaming from another device. Nobody told you to do that. I'm winning now. All I have to do is have the right music. Yay! Like I said, I don't care if it sticks out a little bit, as long as it works. So I'm paying attention to which side I'm pushing out. You need to measure that one. I know exactly how far that is. See, I don't know if you're able to see, but that's the reason why this piece didn't work. Like when I first messaged the guy, Joseph, and he's real nice, and he's like, oh, you can glue it together. And I'm like, okay, but I wondered what happened to break the other piece off of here, and I looked in there and saw gold. And I'm like, no wonder, it was like a return. So every time I put it on, I have to make sure that I'm not putting that last rod that I have onto that, into that space with the gold broken piece. I'm gonna go ahead and try and see if any of these dowels are actually shorter or if they're just tricking me. So see what I did? I took a top of a toothpaste. I actually drilled a hole in it, and then I was able to cut around a little bit around there. So it's like loose enough to spin a little bit. I mean, it works in a pinch if you really need something real quick, That's not the loose one either. Okay. I'm gonna measure these. I don't have a level right now, right? It's not out, so. Hands it is. You know what? That one. This one's a smidge shorter than the rest of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to put that one on. If it doesn't, if it's too big. Yeah, those are all too big. That one's a smidge smaller, so I'll try that one. But it didn't work last time, but I'll give it a whirl. Okay, so we're putting stuff back together, and I'm going to let you people go, I swear. I don't know if you can see this. I made sure that the dowel was longer. I had the hole originally, in the hole where that hole is, but I put enough for me to tighten that down with that. So make sure this is going the right way. Yes, it is. Backwards to go forwards. And I'll tighten that as soon as I get this taken care of. make sure that flows with just that bolt there. Because that bolt was pretty far out, actually. Alright, so if I had another ball bearing, then it would work. You know, I could put the other ball bearing on top of that ball bearing, and it would make this screw stick out here instead of through the back, but it would be tight enough to where it would actually work. Try to do it by hand a little bit first. I don't want to push that. Try not to push the thing in further than I have to. You know what? Me taking that ball bearing out that much might have worked. As long as I don't tighten this too much to push it back in. So I'm gonna be real careful. Only put this in as much as it needs to be. And it's okay. Flush there. It's not wobbly. I think I might have done it. Okay, so this ball bearing right here. You see how I have it sticking out? That red, you know, ring part is sticking out. And I tightened this just enough to where it wasn't going through to the other side and hitting things. Now, I don't know if that's gonna stay like that or if it'll recede as I use it. That's the only way that I could get rid of that coming through the back too much. So it might flow. Ooh. It's close, but it works. Just need to wait for the ball bearing for this piece, obviously, because the looser this is, it's gonna make everything else loose as well. I'm gonna tighten as much as I can, but I still want it to be able to move freely, so it's kind of hard when you're improvising with parts.
So now my only problem is the top piece. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna work on that right now. Because the whole string pulling back that piece is not working out too well. Gonna widen the tripod a little bit. And yes, this video is going to be a little bit longer, but you know, quality over quantity or whatever. If you don't want to watch parts, you can skip to the parts you do need. Okay, so I think it's safe for me to get up now. Off the floor. Okay. Okay, so. Alright, Joseph, I got that much working. Let's see. Bring up this bobbin. So, these bobbins go. This part's still kind of wobbly because I didn't actually glue it yet. Wanted to be sure, you know, everything was working. So you shouldn't go this way because obviously this is going to hit this, and you need this groove part for the top because that's where the string actually propels this. So it goes like this. You got all your hooks facing out, okay? Because those are going to keep the line, so to speak. Alright, so we're going to try this. We're going to put this one in here. This is the shortest bobbin in here. I keep this kind of loose because it doesn't really matter. It's just there to hold it down from, you know, it going bananas. So, I think this might work because for right now because I got this pulled back. So what I did was I had one of the other bobbins there and I put a wedge in between the bobbin and this piece, and I put two of those extra screws in the top of this on either side of where the rod goes. Did not a slip knot, but a regular knot, wrapped that around these two pieces, and while wedging and actually pushing like this, like outward, with books and, you know, a flathead, because I took this out obviously. And then while I had it wedged out and pulled out, this piece pulled out, I wrapped this around here like crazy and knotted it up. I put one of those long extra screws here to be able to do that. And I thought it was gonna work, but didn't really do it because the bobbins were just not the right size. This one, however, is spinning right now, so I think I just gave it enough room. It's wobbling a little bit, and I want you to see up close how much, because it is a literal smidge. See that? Like, that is a real smidge. And yes, I'm probably gonna edit some of this video because I didn't realize it was an hour long. This is what happens when you get lost in La La Land. So I was pulling this piece and pulling this outward so that I could go to this. And then I just kept this piece wrapped around here. So I'm gonna put this back on. Put this back on the wheel. We'll see if it actually works this time. If anybody prays, now that would be the time. I don't really pray, but oh man. Okay, come on. I know I do good knots, but jeez. Okay, so you want it tight enough but loose enough. Honestly, I could have put it a little tighter, but those pieces weren't nailed down yet. So I got a tip from the lady who does the yarn because I couldn't get this thing to work last night. So she said before I start that instead of just doing the one knot, I should do another knot and do a couple wraps around as well. She said because sometimes the yarn moves around in the bobbin or whatever. So I figured I'd try it. So knotting and wrapping this around. I'm gonna wrap it around there, around that piece. And I'm gonna tie another string on here so that I'm able to go, I wanna go around these. These are, I think, tensioning. I'm not sure what these are for. These are for something though. It's supposed to measure something, tension or loosen, I don't know. But they go wherever they go, and then they go down here, and then it goes down into this hole, and it comes out through where my fingers are at. Which you can't see because I didn't move the camera. So this goes around these things. That's what they're for. Inside this hole. And it comes out, you gotta pull it through here. Come out here. And this is the part where you actually draft at. Okay. So I think I might have got this working. We'll do a test drive and see.